Okay. Hi guys, welcome back to Trash It. Okay, so we're back in the house today. We've got Yuri, my usual host. We've got Talia and we've got Jude. So thank you guys for coming back on Trash It, and it's a pleasure as usual to be recording with you guys. Okay, so the topic we're going to be trashing today, it's a very interesting one, and it's quite an exciting topic for some. Okay, so what we want to look at is, do you need to be sexually attracted to your partner before you get married? So when you meet a guy, do you have to think, oh wow, okay, I could rip the clothes off of him, okay? Or do you not need to have that sexual chemistry or sexual connection at first sight? And then you would, then you can just be like, okay, well, we'll see if that develops after. So Jude, I'm going to come to you, given that you're the only man in the house today. Sorry about that. Okay, you're always on the spot. What do you think? You're a man. Tell us, when you meet a woman or when you see a woman, do you automatically become sexual? Does sexual chemistry mean anything to you to help you determine whether or not you're going to go into a relationship with her?
I don't know if it's kind of a two-edged questions you ask. Me just meeting a woman, and if I'm interested in women, of course, if it depends on what people define as sexy these days. So for me, okay, I would say big thighs, big bum, big breast, tall sometimes, not tall sometimes, light skin or light skin. It depends, but I'm pretty sure just for the fact that I'm human animal. Yes, all the sex juice start flowing, and you start having, whoa, look at that, man. In the bedroom, it's gonna be like that. But actually, that don't happen in reality, because when I met my wife, like I said somewhere before, she was just sat there reading while her friends were drinking and partying. I got interested in her. Her friends had big bum than her, but she was the one that drew my attention. So, wow, why would someone be reading while others were drinking and dancing? So that's what drew me to her, as opposed to what my normal thinking would be when I see a lady. I'm like, wow, that's turning my head. So I guess it works differently for different people.
Okay. Now I'm gonna go in a bit deeper. So Jude, and I'm talking about someone to settle down with, like someone to get married to. I know, you met your wife and you said that's so are you saying that when you first saw her, that sex you weren't thinking sexual at all?
No, that didn't come up at all, at all. It was just, I don't know what happened that evening. It just happened.
Mhm.
And we've been dead, like doing our things well. Not everything is perfect, but
Yeah.
like when you look at those things, like you want to look at, the woman's got, I'm sorry to be very graphic, the woman's got the boobs are pointing one direction, or the bums are there, or the thighs are there. These things sometimes they really don't matter later on, because some people, I know people say, Beyonce's got everything, Jay-Z still cheated on her. So we don't know what's the yardstick. How do you measure these things? That's why I'm trying. That's a picture I'm trying to paint. Like all of these things, they really don't matter. Even if it's intelligence that drew me to my wife, it doesn't matter at the end of the day, because one, it's about conquest for everyone, for the woman or the man. Once you've conquered, what do? You go to other you want to conquer other things. You've climbed Mountain Everest. There's nothing else to climb. You want to do something else. That's what it is at the end of the day.
Okay, lovely. Thank you, Jude. Right, Talia, I'm going to come to you. So, sexual chemistry, when you met your husband now, was there sexual chemistry there at first sight? And did you think, okay, yes, I'm sexually attracted to him, and that 50% of the whole thing? What did you think?
I think sex never crossed my mind. Yes, well, I was attracted to him because I thought, he's quite good looking. He's easy on the eye, but it wasn't about it wasn't sex. I think we got to know each other more before I then thought, okay, yeah, it could happen or it couldn't happen. I don't think. I think when you see somebody and you instantly think sex, I think that's lost, isn't it? So you're lost in for that person, and I don't know what people class as. I don't necessarily believe in that thing called love at first sight. First of all, I think you see somebody, you're attracted to them, and that's it. I don't know if it has to be a sexual attraction, but just to know that, okay, well, I want to get to know that person. I think that's enough. Doesn't necessarily have to be sex. I think when it's sex, then I don't think it will last, to be honest.
Right. Okay. So Yori, I'm going to come to you now. What do you think? Sexual chemistry at first sight or not?
Not necessarily. I met my husband at the post office and I was rude as fuck. As in, yeah, I was rude. Like, I'm surprised the guy even talked to me. That was how rude I was. And initially, I thought it wasn't, like, it didn't cross my mind that the guy was even interested in me. I thought he was interested in my friend. That was how rude I was. I can't even remember it was a rainy day in London. And I went to the post office and I went with my friend and they said, I met his younger brother first. And they were like, my elder brother is going to drop us off. I was rude. Jesus. So, but we got talking. He offered to take us to the cinema. And in my mind, I was the last person on this guy's bucket list. I didn't think of it that way. And when we got to the cinema, I was sitting on one side. My friend was in the middle. He was at the extreme end. And he kept going, are you okay? So are you enjoying the movie? And I'm thinking, mate, I thought the babe that you're interested in is the one. And he kept saying, oh, do you like the movie? Do you know what? I was like, okay. So my friend said, oh, do you guys want to swap seats? And it was like, yeah. So, yeah. And that was how we started talking. And do you know what sealed the deal? I went to Wolverhampton Business School, which is like 5 hours away from London. And it was raining. I needed to get back to school. I had a lot of stuff to take back to school. And I said to him, I was like, I'm going to charter a cab from London. And he was like, well, it's going to cost you a lot of money. Let me finish church and I'll take you to school. I was like, you go church. That was it. Do you get what I'm saying? That was it. And that sealed it. Because of him, I had to get a land phone in uni. So you know them time when you need to speak for 60 minutes and you need to hang up and then go back again.
I remember that good day.
Yeah. It was conversation. So we had a lot of that. Sex was not it. It's not it for me. Some people say, they see their partner like, wow, biceps. But it was more of he was present. He's someone that I thought, well, this is someone I would like to spend the rest of my life with. So sex was something we conquered later, but it wasn't really what attracted me to him.
Right. Okay. I mean, interesting. We've got a panel of saints here, honestly, because right now I feel like if I should talk, I'm going to be
talk.
Because to be honest with you, for me, yes, like the sexual chemistry was my main priority. Don't get me wrong. It was just part of the things that would have ticked the bucket for me, because obviously if I meet a guy and I just think, he's a friend, then if it's just a friend that I want in him, then that's a different thing. But if this is someone that's asking me out or that's pursuing me and wants to have a relationship with me, then I'm going to be looking at every nitty gritty, and I'm going to be thinking,
what are you looking at?
Well, first of all, I'm going to be looking, you already get your mind out of the gutter. First of all, I'm going to be looking at, okay, do I like the way his lips are shaped? Can I kiss him? What color are his lips? Is it black? Does he smoke? Is his teeth clean? I'm going to be looking at all those things because, hey, there's no point going out with someone that you don't feel like, okay, you can kiss them or you can, So I'm going to be looking at all of that. And then I'm going to move on to the body odor as well. Does it smell well? Yeah, I am. Does it smell
sexual on day one?
No. But then on day one, you can have all those assessments. Trust me, Jude.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
But that's not sexual. That's not in the sexual nature.
No, but that is what leads to sexual chemistry. Hello, that's what makes you sexually attracted to the person.
If you go for the body odor on day one, what if they just dump half of food on themselves?
Who will get body odor? Go get. It not get which perfume.
Comfort food can dissipate.
Jude, let me tell you. I worked with a guy. And this guy had body odor. No matter the amount of perfume he sprayed, really? The body odor still permeated through.
I think I know who you're talking about.
It was too bad. I had to tell him. And I was like, listen, man, spray some perfume, deodorant, wash your thing very well under your arm. Do you understand? So there's no amount of deodorant that you would spray or perfume. No, it's not oud that be oud. You don't get how it won't be. You will smell that body odor from it, whether it's coming from the mouth or from the armpits.
I didn't know.
Do you understand? So for me, go on.
No, go on. I wanted you to finish.
Okay, so for me, I'm going to assess all those things first, yeah? And the way, come on now, there's just a way the guy would dress and the clothes will sit on his body. You'll be like, okay, this person has a nice figure and, he looks well. Then that one has passed. before you now start looking at his behavior. Don't get me wrong, because I know people might think, oh, Celia is so shallow or whatever. Nah, for me, I need to look at the man. I need to make sure he looks correct. Then I would then start thinking of the other things. I'm not the kind of girl to say, oh, a man must have money, even if he's ugly. A man, if he has money, then I'm fine. No, I'm not. If you don't have money and you are fine, then yes, I believe that we can build that money together. We can build something together. But yeah, for me, that's it. You wanted to say something.
I think you like what you like. And everyone likes what they like. But for me, before I start thinking, I'm that kind of person. I need to be able to have a conversation with you. No matter how good the sex is, if we can't talk, I will forever hate you. Do you get what I'm saying? It's true. Because you can see I'm a talker. So I need someone that can either listen to me or flow on that level intellectually. So sex, we will get there, as in, I think it's something that can be taught. Do you understand? As a woman, some guys don't know how you want to be held. Doesn't mean they don't know how to have sex. Just you make it personal. I like you to do this. I like you to touch me here. I like you to kiss me here. Do you know?
What just changed? Wow.
I think when you said sexual attraction, I had a different, because there have been people that I've been sexually attracted to on first sight, but I knew that this was just shallow. It wasn't going to go anywhere. But physical attraction is different. So everything that you described, like how he looked, how he smelled, for me, that's just normal attraction. That's a basic thing that obviously it has to be present for me to even be attracted to anybody. But sexually is me, I'm sizing you up to say, okay, what do you have on the, is it gonna, all those kind of things for me is just for fun. So I'm only gonna just have fun. There's nothing to, whether you're ugly, you're not ugly, or I don't.
If you chop, you chop.
The thing is,
I don't chop. I don't.
The thing is, right? The thing is, it's like. Obviously, when I was growing up, oh God, okay. When I was growing up, like, yeah, if I see a guy and I know that, okay, do you know what? Nothing serious is going to come of this, but I just like him and, whatnot, then I could just be like, okay, well, yeah, this is just for fun. It's nothing serious. But when it comes to actually meeting a guy that I think I want to spend the rest of my life with, for me, that sexual chemistry is number one. Do you understand? For example, I dated a Pakistani guy before. It wasn't because I knew I was going to marry him. Yeah. Do you understand? It's not because I knew I was going to marry him, but it was just because I thought, oh yeah. What did you say, Talia?
It shocks me to my spine.
Oh, it shocked you, eh? It shocked you.
You know where it shocked me, Rich? She doesn't like the smell of, I hope don't
no, but actually,
bias, eh?
What did you?
That's an unconscious bias.
Unconscious bias. No, because this guy was fine, He was fine. He was clean, and he didn't have that smell, Yuri. You know the smell. He didn't have that. So that was good. But no, on a good day, no, I wouldn't go there. But for me, I just think the sexual. So now, how did they manage though? Like, honestly, because I'm sure things like sexual chemistry never even came into the equation for them.
It didn't.
So how do you think that, and especially if their marriages were arranged as well?
I don't think that is correct. We in this generation or generations before, just a couple of years back and now, we're only just used to these new terms with social media and all. Our parents definitely were sexually attracted to each other. Otherwise, they wouldn't have got closer to each other. Like what I'm trying to say is, yeah, there have been occasions where a lady would just walk into any room. I'll be like, wow, she just took that words out of your mouth because they just own the place. And yeah, they just own the place. And I could say that of Yuri. I could say that of Celia. I haven't met Talia in person because the way you guys dress, Yuri dress is colorful and she walks.
Jude, just to cut you, Nelson is going to join us. Okay, we have a bit of a late comer into this conversation, so Nelson is going to join us. But Jude, continue what you were saying.
So, like I was saying, I worked in the same office with Celia, and the first time I saw her, the way she walked and everything, I was like, wow. That one just owned the place. But that doesn't mean I was sexually attracted to her or Yuri. So there are those things. Those people who just take a wow out of you. I don't believe that on the first day, though, I will be able to ascertain that I'm sexually attracted to this, so I want to stay the rest of my life with you. No. But taking that wow out of my mouth definitely does happen. And it still happens. Even when I'm with my madam. And something happened yesterday. I was going to Sainsbury and this lady just came out of her car. My gosh, she was tall. My God, she was everywhere. Everything was there. And I slowed down to just catch the whole fun. As I was going behind her, guess what I saw? What? Another lady who worked in Sainsbury's. She didn't know I was looking at that. She was just looking at her like that. And I went, "You're looking at another woman." And she, I was like, "What is this?" I was trying to check the lady, and she was just, I'm not joking. She went, because she's appreciating what
girls out.
So what I'm trying to say is, there are people like that who take the wow out of your mouth. I've seen people go crazy over Idris Elba. I'm not Idris Elba, but they don't go crazy for me. They see Idris and he talks. They'll be like, I'm like, I look like him. Look at me.
You died.
I do.
I think that was the point that I was trying to make about sexual chemistry and physical attraction. That is so different. Like, you could see a man and be like, okay. But sexual chemistry is something that I feel like it's something that you build over time.
Yeah.
You really need to be, for me, I think I really need to have a conversation with you, and you would say the right words that would definitely, like, hit that spot for me. Mainly looking at you won't do it. Sorry.
And you can lose that sexual
chemistry. I'll be physically attracted to, obviously, I like fine boys. I've always liked fine boys.
Yeah, we know that, Alia. They'll take you away with fine boy one day.
You see,
that before you can get into my pants, you have to work hard, though.
Okay, so Talia, let me correct that. Yeah, sexual chemistry doesn't mean the person is going to go into your pants, right? It doesn't mean that. And the thing is, for me, right? The person, I can assess the guy and think, okay, yes, I think if anything was to happen and he ticks all the boxes, yes, I will go there, right? But then it then takes the guy to open his mouth, right? And then when he opens his mouth and you're like, oh my God. And obviously that sexual chemistry vanishes regardless of how fine he looks. Do you understand? If you're that kind of person. Nelson, welcome to this conversation. Welcome, okay.
Thank you so much. Sorry I'm late. I'm late.
It's okay. It's okay.
Good to see you all again.
I know. It's been a while. It's been a while,
It's been so long,
Yeah. Okay, so Nelson, as you've heard, we're talking about sexual chemistry, and we want to know, is it important before you get married to be sexually connected with your partner before you get married? What is your take on that?
You mean you have to have intimacy before you get married?
No. Do you have to be sexually attracted to your partner before you get married? Before you start
Before you choose the person?
Yeah.
Before you choose the person?
Yes.
Yes, I think so. Yes, I think so. I think it's important. Sexual attraction would not always be there, but you should have it. That spark should be there before you decide to settle down with someone. Yes.
So tell us your experience because obviously you're a married man, very happily married. Nelson and his wife on Instagram, honestly, they're like my favorite couple. They'll be putting things out there. So tell us, Nelson, when you first met your wife, what attracted you to her? I'm sure she will want to know this, okay?
Oh wow, you're putting me on the spot now. Okay.
Yes, we are.
What it was? Yeah, I think it was mainly intelligence. Yeah, it was mainly intelligence, and I would say kind nature. It's she wasn't the only one, but she was different.
Wow.
When we met, so yeah, so it's something to do with I think to me it was mainly how she was carrying herself and how she behaved when we met.
Okay, so when you first saw her, what was that thing about her that attracted her to you?
Oh, okay. When I saw her, Jesus, this is deep. Okay, when I saw her, right? She was so fine. She's a very pretty girl, and she's so tall, right? So the height got me thinking, like, wow, So but when we began to talk, because we were friends before we started to date, we became very good friends. So, but when we started to talk, I just realized that she's a wonderful person. She's a wonderful person. So that just got me hooked.
Okay. Jude, are you sure it's not Nelson's wife?
I don't want to say too much. I don't want to say too much.
Why? This is
I don't want her
shit.
watching this. I don't want her watching this and her head is going like.
Do you know what? On that note, Nelson, I think I have to probe a bit more because we want you to say as much as you can. Okay. Now your wife is Igbo, ain't she, Nelson? And you're Benin. So how did that work?
Okay. Yeah, she's Igbo. I'm Benin, but she didn't really grow up in. She's one of those that were born in the north of Nigeria.
Right.
So she's not Igbo, like Igbo sort of person. I would say so.
Okay.
But yeah, she's Igbo. I'm Benin, and we're fine. We're happy. It's about understanding.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go back to the question we were trying to decipher before Nelson joined us. So for me, I said, how did our parents cope? Because some of their marriages were arranged, okay? Some were betrothed whilst they were still children to their current husbands. So when it comes to choosing your partner based on whether or not you're sexually attracted to them or not, how do we think they manage that? Did they just find themselves in the bedroom one night and felt, okay, well, I have to do as I've been told? So Tyler, what do you think? How do you think our parents manage that?
I think, you know what? I actually have a coworker that has an arranged marriage.
Okay.
And I actually asked her that question, that because you didn't choose your husband, how are you guys so compatible? And she said, well, she actually made me understand that actually that if he wasn't the type of guy that she would go for, it wouldn't have worked. So essentially, if she had to pick her own husband, that would have been who she would have picked. So I think our parents must have had that. Even though they had arranged marriages, whoever arranged or whoever picked their husbands must have known. I think people that have arranged marriage definitely pick their husbands based on I think anyway, based on what they think the wife would like. So I don't know. I mean, if I remember correctly, my grandma had an arranged marriage and they worked really well. I mean, yeah, she was attractive. My granddad was wealthy, so maybe that was.
Okay.
Yes.
Can I come in?
Yes, Nelson.
Okay, I think what it was, generations before ours, or the generations before the one before ours, they managed to live together. It did not matter if things were smooth, things were rough. They just knew that they needed to live with each other. Right? It's got nothing to do with the wealth. I think it had something to do with their psyche, their orientation. The generation after our grandparents' generation, you would see that there are lots of divorce relationship. This is from what I've observed, I've checked out. I'm talking about Africans now, right?
Yeah.
The generation before ours, before our grandparents, they had arranged marriages. And those women were ready to live with those men.
Regardless
of what it was. They would go through stress, they would go through everything, and they would do it together, and they would stick together, they would live together before they die. Then our parents' generation, I think that was where these becoming boss ladies came into play, right? That if something isn't going right, the man would just up and leave, or the woman would just up and leave, rather than the way it used to be that they would fuse themselves together and then try to work things out. Our generation is still the same thing. The only difference is people are trying to work out those ego within the whole relationship thing. That's why we can still see loads of divorces or people breaking up, and we still have people staying together. But I think we would get to a stage whereby we would be able to then all decide that whatever it is, we should be able to fuse ourselves together and live together through good times and bad times.
Okay,
I think we'll get back there.
Okay, thank you, Nelson. Jude, let me come to you. Do you think our parents knew what sexual chemistry was, or do you think they just went into it and just developed how they felt for their husbands or wives?
Do you think sexual chemistry is just new because of Instagram and Facebook? Of course, we are biological animals, so they had that. And I like exactly what Talia said earlier. Say Nelson was my paddy, we always roll together. Nelson would have heard me say the kind of specs I like in women, capish? And say Nelson was married. So Nelson would look at her wife and say, that your friend, it fits into what Jude always talk about, and Jude is single. Okay, we not arrange for them to meet, just invite them for dinner without us knowing. So that's how our parents actually, and our grandparents and great-grandparents, that's how it actually worked for them. There was no Happen or whatever these sites they use these days for matchmaking. It wasn't there, but the original matchmakers were their contemporaries, their friends. So they knew the specs. Like when those military guys used to come to Benin, they knew that one liked light-skinned women. So they would send the light-skinned women towards them, and they'll pick one of them and marry. You see what I mean? So there was that chemistry. If it wasn't there, they wouldn't have gotten down with each other. Of course, like Nelson rightly pointed out, sexual chemistry does become retarded over time. And what Nelson was trying to point out again was you find a way to build them back. It does happen, it becomes retarded, and you fall out of all of that. And why that is because of familiarity. It's and things that you begin to see from the outside picture. I think for our parents, I'm not going to blame mothers here, women, because I have more experience of this happening back home, and it was mainly the men that were to blame because they fell out of the sexual chemistry, went out, and they just went astray, met another woman. And our mothers and our grandmothers, they were very proud people. I'm talking of the Beninese now. Proud people, they got pride. Like, no way I'm sharing that bed with you. No way. My father's got a place. I'm back. I'm going back. So they buy with your life and they left. So they had that chemistry right from day one, but not just described as the way we describe it these days, but it was definitely there.
Okay, thank you, Jude. Yori, let me come to you. What do you think?
Well, I would go with 2 generations. My grandparents' generation, like my grandfather, I've said he had 25 wives. So you can imagine, he had 25 wives. So So
falling like I wish I was in his time.
So you can imagine most of his wives were given to him. And if there was anything my father didn't want, although they were very rich, he didn't want that kind of lifestyle. So he went the opposite. And history has told us when he saw my mom was rude. Sorry, mommy.
Well, just like you were.
Yeah, just like me. And she was like, my dad was a journalist and he was covering something in School of Nursing. And they had this freshers party. And my dad went there on his Vespa. And my mom was like, me, a old princess, ride Vespa. Capital no. And, he chased her. He chased her. And eventually I think it was a box of suya that sealed the deal. My parents will kill me for this story. And then she was like,
very romantic.
Yeah, it was a box of suya.
And Vespa is romantic too, from Italy.
Not then.
He was riding a brand new Vespa. My mom was like, I would never go on a Vespa. But a box of suya apparently sealed the deal. He chased her. Yeah, he chased her. And that was because he wanted something different from how he grew up. He had a lot of siblings, he had a lot of stepmothers, and he weighed different. So I believe that our parents still chased themselves, like they weren't arranged or something. But sexual chemistry would be important to them as well. It might start off with something else, like they needed to know, because my dad is from Owo, which is really close to Benin. So, and my mom is from Kwara State, which is like Kwara State, which is like walls apart. Their culture is different. Everything is different. Ideally, they're not supposed to get married because Owo people don't go that way. But they've made it work. and they continue to be around each other. Still, sometimes they annoy me. The way they kind of chase each other about. You can't invite my dad anywhere without my mom going. They can't travel without each other. It can be so cumbersome because now you have to plan for 2 people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they've made it work. And to them, divorce was not an excuse. It wasn't an option.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't an option. So whatever issues they had in their marriage, especially with their cultural differences, they made it. My mom didn't understand the language. My dad's siblings spoke their language, which I felt sometimes was a little bit rude because she didn't understand it, but they made it work. And they're still powering through 40-something years down the line.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. Yeah, that's good. That's interesting as well, because for me, you guys have been saying, oh, they must have had, even though the marriage may have been arranged, they must have had sexual chemistry or it wouldn't have worked. And I just try to think real far back into the olden days where the way the men would sleep with their wives, it was, I need you now, go and wait for me, I'll be there in 5 minutes. So do you understand? So the woman had no option really. So for me, I don't think the woman just had to do as she was told by the man her parents have married her to. Do you understand? And this girl could be as young as 14 and the man could be as old as a grandfather. So where is the sexual chemistry in that? And sorry, Jude, I didn't hear you.
I think you're touching on something very, very important. And again, Nigeria is very big, so it's not just one culture.
Oh, no, of course not.
Yeah. So you touched on something very important, like when the woman is quite young and the man is older. Of course, in that sort of situation, you don't expect there to be sexual chemistry. Of course, that's a different arrangement altogether. Yeah.
Nelson, you were going to say something. Sorry, Yori. No, Nelson, you were going to say something.
Yes. Before you mentioned the 14-year-old, I think that's a different topic. Yeah, okay. I know that guy with the 14-year-old. That's a different topic.
Yeah, it is.
I don't think that's what we're talking about now.
Well,
is it?
Well, not necessarily, but sometimes it can intertwine because unfortunately things like that happen in Nigeria where, because we're talking about our parents, where, the child had no choice, So for me, I'm thinking, because you guys have been saying, yeah, there must have been sexual chemistry. If there wasn't, it wouldn't have worked. But I believe there must have been instances where there was no sexual chemistry. The girl hated, even though she was over 18, even though the girl was over 18. But in those days, you couldn't not do what your parents wanted you to do. If your parents wanted you to marry Mr. Chibundu because Mr. Chibundu has money and he can train the rest of your sisters, who are you or your brothers? Who are you to say no? You are like, the one that's going to help the family, and you will go and marry the man they want you to marry. So again, the woman's choice has been taken and there's no sexual chemistry. Yori, you wanted to say something?
I think for them back then it's about procreation. So it's not about whether you're good or bad. It's just you're in here to have a child, and you will have a child. Now, in our family hometown, our family house, where my granddad used to sit, apparently the man would, if he likes a girl and you walk past a lot, he would throw down a stone or a stick. God help you, you look up. You look up like this, they will just frog match you into the compound.
Wow.
And they
was he a king?
It was second in command to the king in my hometown. So their parents will be happy that the Shashara of Owo has looked at you and stoned you. So, when my dad tells this story, I'm like, imagine a 15, 16 years old that is voluptuous, just walks past and grandpa just throws a stick and the poor girl looks up. You look up to and you've sealed your fate because you've looked up. That means, well, come in. And you're quite right. For him, he was just, with the lack of better words, he was just giving them as it comes.
Yeah.
Again, so people are attracted to power. So who knows whether they were attracted to power status? It happens.
Yeah, it does.
They're attracted to power. Wow, that person has got some power. For that reason, they'll go. It does happen. It still happens.
It does happen. Yeah.
It still happens.
But even back in those days, the 15, 16-year-olds, they don't have the freedom of thought the way we do now. So to them, that's it. That's normal. That's
their life.
You get married, exactly. You get married whenever your parents say. So to them, they didn't see anything wrong with it. So now I know Nelson was thinking about pedophilia. That's why he was like,
yeah. That was what I was thinking.
But to be quite honest, back in those days, that was the norm. You get married 12, 13, 14. When your parents said you're right, you're right. And you know, it's only now that we have this freedom of speech.
It's not clear cut. It's not just that clear cut. You see, this is why evolution is important. Look, those period and now you can't compare it. Go read about them. Our women then, because of the sort of food they ate and the sort of lifestyle they lived, they quickly went into puberty stage and became fully matured women. You cannot compare a 12-year-old of before and a 12-year-old now. Now, the 12-year-old is absolutely a child. Then they were full-grown women. And it has to do with the food. It has to do with the evolution of the woman body. It starts with the food, with all the experiments they did back in Africa. And it's the same year. 12-year-olds were getting married, yes, 14-year-olds, 16-year-olds. But as evolution went, they started to see that, come on, they're not getting wiser or any bit better. They're even they're degrading. It's like we're going backwards in time. So that's why all of this whole age barrier came into place. But then you could never compare 12-year-old or 16-year-old woman with the one now. They were quickly advanced. They were quickly advanced. They understood things. It's just the way they lived at that time. As society comes into the 20th century, things just changed. And it's in the food we eat as well, especially the food we eat. So everything just changed for the woman body and for the man as well.
Or maybe going by what you've just said, or maybe education. Because nowadays, it might take people longer to study before they get to maturity.
Yeah.
That's debatable though, Jude. That's debatable because when you see a 16-year-old from maybe, you know, in those days, they're very naive and they're very quiet and they're very
Where did you see one in those days? Were you there?
No. I mean, from what I know now,
things fall apart.
No, exactly. You know, Abiku and all those novels of Banje, you know.
Do you know what I think?
Go on, Nelson.
I think you're thinking that you're one of those that would think that your parents didn't have fun, that you're having more fun than they did.
I don't think
so. I think
I hope you don't think so, because in their time as well, they had the best of time.
Trust me. If you saw some pictures that my parents have,
that's what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
They had fun. Like sometimes I tell them, I'm like, wow, you people were just all over the place, busting it wild and things. They had fun.
My dad and my mom, they had a big afro on the bell bottoms.
With their platforms and their Volkswagen Beetle. They had fun. They lived their life. But,
they did.
Yeah, because compared to 16-year-olds now, I mean, I don't know. I'm just thinking I feel 16-year-olds now, they might not have that maturity in like having sense and that sense of responsibility. But when it comes to other areas, especially the aspect of sex, they're very like
they know.
Tough, you know?
Because of the way they've been brought up. So by 12, when they're 12, when they're 8, they're still telling them they're kids. But as at then, way back, maybe by 8, they're already telling them that you'll soon be getting married. Prepare yourself. Exactly. They're training them towards it. So they prepare them before that time. We're holding them back now. Exactly. So I think that's why I would agree with with him.
Society is retrogressed. My daughter is still at home with me. She's 14.
On a good day, your daughter would be being prepared for marriage.
We would have been bringing palm oil from back people's house.
She would have gone to meet Chibudu or the Shashore or for war.
Beautiful flower.
We would have dropped a stick from above.
They'll have dropped stick on top of your child's head, though.
Imagine throwing stick to my daughter, say, come here.
Okay. Anyway, we're gonna end it here. But just before we end it, I just want to ask everyone, if you had the opportunity, so let's assume you weren't married, right? Let's assume you weren't married, you're single, and you know, this is not disrespect to any of your partners, and you were gonna choose a partner, on first sight, what is the thing you will be looking at? You only had 10 minutes to decide not even 10 minutes, 5 minutes to decide if this is a person you want to spend the rest of your life with. Let's assume it's an experiment. What would be the things you'll be looking out for? Yuri, I'm going to come to you. What would you be looking out for?
Oh my God. Physically?
Yeah, physically or yeah.
Dentition?
Okay.
I will look at. I don't have a problem with heights. They don't have to be too short. Someone that has a great smile. I'll look down a bit to see if there's a way we can see if things are defined.
How do you mean?
Yeah. I forget about Park. Park is not my problem.
Yeah.
The lower bottom. You know, sometimes when they wear track suits, you just need to know there's a bulge. There's a bulge. Yeah, it's important. Yeah, someone that can make me smile, a good dentition, a bulge at the bottom, nice arms, because I like someone touching me at night. I can't like when my husband's out of town, I struggle to sleep. Someone that can listen, that smiles well, that makes me laugh. I don't know. I'm out 10 minutes, isn't it?
You're out of time, Yuri. 5 minutes is done. Talia, let me come to you.
I think someone that would hug me and I'll just feel safe. That's always been like
physical attraction, no, Madam Hug.
Physical attraction. You know, they have to be somehow.
No, wait. So which means any man can just come and hug you?
No, not any man.
Oh, you mean the look?
Like, the look.
Yeah.
Someone that, you know, has muscles, you know, that
Talia.
feel safe in their arms, you know. I love a man that has a good smile, and I think that's one of the things that I love about my husband, his smile. Like literally, even when I'm upset with him and he smiles at me, I'm just like, oh God. Not too short. I'm not really, don't really mind, because average height is good for me. Obviously good looking, you have to be at least, because me, one of the things that I always said, and God forgive me, I'm just gonna say it, I always said I definitely needed someone that's fine so that our kids can be fine. So the person has to definitely be fine. I can't deal with ugliness. And what else? Yeah, I think those are my
but beauty is in the eyes though.
I beg you. I need him to be fine enough here that other girls will be like,
do you understand?
When he comes into the room, other girls will be like, ooh, is that someone's man? Trust me.
Know.
You know that kind of hair.
It's not the one that they will see him and be like, okay, if I got your eye now, it's okay.
I have to be proud holding his hand on the street now. As in, me myself, I'm not an ugly girl. So why would I beg?
Okay, thank you, Talia. Nelson, what would you see in the woman that will make you think, wow?
Okay, from afar, I would say beauty. She has to be beautiful. She has to be beautiful. I've got nothing against
ugly girls.
Not beautiful, yeah, but
beautiful, man.
But the one I would go for has to be beautiful, and intelligence as well, because I would chip in words to just find out how the level of intelligence.
You test her.
Yeah, exactly.
IQ.
So, yes, and if it's good enough, yes.
God help you.
Think.
Okay. Right. Thank you. Now, Jude, what are you going to be looking for?
I thought you was going to skip me, man. Come on.
I will skip you. I will skip you.
You see, intelligence is so very important, but I don't think I'll get that.
You won't get that in 5 minutes.
Yeah, because it's very important, because I hate to really talk to people
who
appears to be like doorknobs to me. I hate it, whether I be man or woman. But for me, though, you see, the mind works crazy. Look, if I describe the kind of woman, my wife is not even close to it. You see, I like woman with full-on lips. You know, I love that lips. I don't know what it is with me. I like that lips.
Talia, will you cover your face? What nonsense!
Just show him now.
And I want to say something it's very controversial. I never liked makeup, so that would never attract me to a woman.
Really?
Yeah. I never liked makeup.
What about now?
Till now, even to be more controversial, if I see that you're wearing another hair, that's it for me, whether you're that tall.
Oh yeah, pull wig now, Talia, pull wig.
Yeah.
I know.
That's what seriously gets me first. You don't do makeup, your lips. I don't know what I try. I just say, wow, this is amazing. My wife don't wear makeup anyway, so she tick that box. She don't wear earrings. She's got no ears. She's tick that box again. But she don't have that lips, because my wife is European. Her lips are tiny, you see.
Oh, she can feel it. Don't worry.
She can have both.
Villas.
Oh, no.
Nah,
That girl from
no
Essex.
point in all that.
Those celebrity stars from Essex, no way. They all look like twins. They all with their lips like
Like a dog.
I'm so sorry, but yeah. Like we said earlier, the wow factor, the mind plays, And sometimes too, I see a very tiny person, and that's the one that gets me. Like I want to just hold this person. Maybe that's what dragged me to my wife because she's that small. Well, like Nelson rightly said before, all of these things they fade after time. You have to be strong.
These days we carry on slaying forever.
Yeah, you just have to be strong to build it. You just have to be strong. Otherwise, all of this description that I've just described, you see them in front of you and you don't bother anymore. You just be like,
exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
I've lived
exactly.
Okay, well, thank you.
Okay, yeah. When you finish, then go on.
No, go on, Nelson, because I was going to round up.
No, I was getting because he mentioned something about makeup. I was going to say this makeup that we see now only came 2 years or 3 years ago, isn't it?
Who told you that one?
We've been painting faces since 1962. What are you talking about?
No. I mean the makeup that we see now. That
You mean
just
full
changing.
age? You know?
You mean the contouring and all those highlighting and all those ones?
Exactly.
Okay.
It's different now from the way it used to be.
Yes.
Now, sometimes you see a girl without makeup, and then when next she does her makeup, you would not recognize her.
Yeah.
There are some like that. So if that's the makeup he's talking about, then I agree with him. Please, let's still recognize you from the makeup.
No, do you know what? Actually, I agree with Jude on that because there's nothing wrong with wearing makeup, but don't overdo it to the point where the person will not be able to recognize you, like Nelson said, because I've seen some makeup on Instagram, and the woman, the Adidas mark on her face and everything before makeup. And then by the time she presents herself, you're like, oh my God, this is not, people like that, they can be sued, especially if their husband have never seen them without makeup. Because the man has married their mother's age mates, for all he knows.
I've ruined many a white shirts because of
Exactly. Anyway, on that note, I didn't get to answer the question, but it's fine because we've run out of time.
I was gonna say,
we've run out of time, darling. So we can't.
No. Say it now.
When you need to talk, we've got 2 minutes.
Exactly. We've got time.
Okay, if you must, right? For me, right? I don't want the man to be shorter than me. Okay, so I'm 5'5", so anything from 5'6", I'm happy with that. Eyes, you have to have nice eyes, like my husband's eyes, sleepy eyes, but very, very sexy. That does it for me. And also, like Talia mentioned before, so when you hug the man, when you hug the man and you can just sink into his chest as if it's a sinking boat. How do you call it?
He contoured to the shape.
Do you understand? I saw a picture of Idris Elba and The Rock on Instagram, right? And they were like, on Facebook, and someone was like, which one would you go for? And I'm like, you know what? Idris Elba might be more handsome than The Rock, but I'm going for The Rock because you see the way that his chest, everything is just, I can just do like this. And if rapture comes, I know I'm going to heaven. Do you understand? The hair. And funny enough, I'm lucky that my husband has those kind of build. He has those kind of natural muscles where people keep asking him, oh, are you building? Are you weight building? But he's not. Okay, so yeah, that's the kind of men that I like.
Now we know why Sila is always late to work. Oversleep don't kill you.
I'm never late to work. Hello. I am never late to work. So on that note, we're going to end it here. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, Talia. Thank you, Nelson. Thank you, Jude. And as usual, Yori, I call her the Madame. Thank you for being on the show today. And Nelson...